I'm sure all of us have been in a situation where we've been asked to do something, a good deed, or to help somebody else out. And if it's a little thing, no big deal. We do it for them and they say thank you, and of course that's the end of it. But suppose you do something really big for someone. Let's say they've fallen really behind in their work or anything, and they call you and say, listen, I'm really in a desperate situation here. I need help. Can you sacrifice some time today and help me? And you do. And you give them a whole day, and you're doing exhausting work. And at the end of the day, with all of this work that you've done for them, you expect the person to thank you, and hopefully they'll turn to you and say something in the order of, there are no words to thank you for what you did for me today. You were a lifesaver. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you so much. And maybe they'll say, come on, let me take you out and buy you a beer. Or maybe I'll take you to dinner. And you're grateful. And you didn't do it for the beer or for the dinner. You would have done it without it, but you're appreciative of the fact that this friend showed gratitude to you for the sacrifice you made for them. But now imagine the exact same situation, and at the end of this long, exhaustive day that you've helped this person, they turn to you and say, okay, well, it's dinner time now. All right, so I'm going to go in and eat. All right, thanks. Bye. Well, how would you feel? I'm sure you'd feel neglected, maybe even hurt. You say, that's it? A brief thanks, bye? Nothing more than that after all that I did for you today? And we might maybe even think to ourselves, boy, after that, next time he asks me to help him, you're going to see how busy I'm going to be. If he doesn't have the decency just to thank me for what I did, well, I'm not helping him again. And we might very well feel that way if we're honest with ourselves. But that's exactly what Jesus is talking about today when he talks to the host at the dinner that he goes to. He says, when you hold a banquet, do not invite those who can invite you back, your family, friends, wealthy neighbors, who can repay you. In other words, he's telling them, do it, when he says do it for the poor, the blind, the lame, people who could never repay you, because this way you know you're doing it for the sake of doing what is right and what is good. You're not doing it for the reward you get out of it, but simply because it's the right thing to do. And that's what the Lord is challenging all of us to do today in this gospel story, is to do what is right, not because of the reward or the thanks we get, and certainly not to make anybody else beholden to us so that we do a favor for them so that they'll have to do something for us in return, a tit for tat. But no, he's saying just do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, whether or not somebody praises you for it or thanks you, because your reward in heaven will be great. It's a type of love that in Latin is known as gratis, giving totally and completely from the heart, expecting nothing else in return. And if we can do that each and every day, oh, how much different our lives would be, how happier we would be. And there are many people here this morning who do that on a daily basis, and you probably don't even realize you're doing it. And who are those people that are here with us this morning who give love gratis, doing what is the right thing to do, not expecting reward for it? You who are parents. You do that for your children each and every day. I'm sure your children never thank you drop for drop for everything you do for them, for all the work you do, whether you go to work in the morning and come back, and I'm sure when you come back in the evening from a long, exhaustive day at work, your kids don't say to you, Mom, Dad, thank you so much for going out today and enduring all those hardships of the office so that you could put food on the table for me and take care of my other needs. I'm sure they don't do that. Maybe once in a while they do, and hopefully it's not just Mother's Day, Father's Day, or your birthday that they decide to thank you. But once in a while, hopefully they do say thanks. But if they did it every single day, imagine if you came home from work every day and your child said to you, Mom, Dad, thank you for working today to put the food on my table, and thank you for cooking the meal, thank you for cleaning up after the meal, thank you for making my bed, thank you for doing my laundry. You might get annoyed and you say, all right, you're grateful, I get it, enough. Okay. You might say, this is too much here. You're not expecting that. But we would like to hear it once in a while. But even if you don't, you still do it. And maybe once in a while we might gripe and complain and say, I feel like a maid around here. Nobody appreciates what I do. But you do it anyway because you love your family. And that's what parents do. If you had somebody, again, I think of another situation, who did thank you, sometimes you might even take the thanks as sarcasm. Imagine, for example, you have a 16-year-old child who asks for permission to go one day with some friends to a concert at one of the stadiums out down on Long Island. And you ask, well, how are you getting there? Well, my friend who just got his license 2 weeks ago is going in the used car that his father just bought him for $300. So can I go? Well, of course, the answer is going to be absolutely no. Absolutely not. While it might be okay for you to go to this concert, your friend doesn't have enough driving experience and it's too dangerous. No, I'm not allowing you to go, or I'll only allow you to go if you allow me to drive you. Oh, Mom, Dad, that would cramp my style completely. I can't be driven by my friends, by my parents, to this concert. Well, it's either that or you don't go at all. And imagine after that, if your child came up to you, gave you a big hug and a kiss and said, Mom, Dad, thank you so much for being so concerned about my well-being that you are willing to take me being displeased with you or me being angry at you simply because you were looking after my health rather than my popularity and everything I wanted to do. Thank you so much for being such a great and loving parent. You probably would say to yourself, all right, what's this little brat up to? You would think he's being rather sarcastic, and not for a moment would you think that he was being sincere with that. So we do the right thing. Parents naturally do it for their children simply because it's what you do as parents. It's your duty. Another example of people who do that. Think of an elderly man whose wife is in a nursing home and she has advanced Alzheimer's to the point that she has no awareness of anyone or anything around her. And he goes and sits with her every day, bathes her, kisses her, holds her hand, and talks with her. She doesn't even know he's there. She can't say thank you back to him, but he does it day after day because he loves her. All because he wants to love her, not anything he's getting back from her. That is gratis. And that's what the Lord calls us to do for everyone. Sure, we do it easily for those we love, but if we could move that then to other people around us, to our neighbors, the people that we work with in school, and all the other people we encounter, even sometimes the difficult people, if we could learn to be loving of others without looking for the cost in return, without expecting them to thank us, without asking for a gift, or not trying to put them in a position where they would be beholden to us in the future, but just doing what is right because it is the right thing to do without counting the cost. Oh, how much happier we would be, how much joyful our lives, and that joy would naturally spread to other people around us, and we would end up improving the world one by our own willingness to love without worrying about what we're getting in return. And indeed, if we can do that, we could hear the Lord saying to us, "You are not far from the kingdom of God." May Jesus Christ be praised. Now, I just gave you a homily in about 8 minutes this morning, which is very short for me, so I don't expect you to thank me afterwards for it.